in all religions, all factions of religions, even spiritualities or high spiritual systems have a form of prayer or meditation to reach or seek a higher elevation of consciousness or to reach a higher connection with a higher power. I think most can agree with that, right? So, meaning you have to connect to something outside of your being, one. That's one, number one. You have to connect something that's outside of you and either have faith in, and faith is believing in things that are unseen, correct? And hold this faith system for things you can't see, but believe in it, go through this ritual or a state of mind to connect to something that is outside of yourself, to submit to, completely submit unto it. So we first recognize we have to get into this ritual or whatever state of mind or procedure to connect to something that is outside of yourself. Now, I want you to think about this just for a little bit. I'm not questioning anyone's religion. I have studied all religions, and I don't mean some. I mean them all. And the thing about it is, religions are created every day by someone, somewhere in the world. So, by man or woman, I don't think child, but anything is possible. So, I've studied all religions, and I understand that everything has its own set of rules, guidelines, or way of life, or way of living. Now, in accepting that there's something that is a higher power anywhere, to believe or faith or have faith in it, you know you can't see. Just listen to me. Listen. Not judging. I have been a Christian. I am now a Muslim. So I understand both sides of different spiritual or religions or followings or guidelines or rules. So I'm not here to judge anything or anyone. But understanding these, you have to understand these concepts to practice it. To practice any religion, to follow anything, you have to learn the rules or make up your own, depending on whatever it is and however you do it. When you do decide to follow a ritual or a guideline to connect to a higher power or being and submit unto it. So in all of these possible ways, depending on the religion or how it is done, I have followed those practices in throughout when I was a Christian. Now, in the practices, not saying they are the same, but following a guideline or practicing it. So, in becoming a Muslim, what I found out is, which I never ever thought about. I never thought about this at all. Was when you follow this guideline and seek a higher connection to a higher being or spirit or power, and when you submit unto it, you're sending, as we know, because it could be willpower, right? Or as some people, quote unquote, manifest it. Manifest means to change. And that means you're going to have to do it yourself. But through this thought process, some, faith systems believe in something will make a change in their life. Meaning you hope something has a power to do that. Otherwise, I don't think we will be practicing these things that we do practice. So I'm not here to argue, or I'm not even here trying to prove a point. I'm trying to bring upon a realization, because a lot of times we do things, we may not realize what we're doing till later on. It happens all the time, so, but this is a process of practicing any spirituality or any religion. So in practicing it. So when I became a Muslim, what I found out was, when you send out this energy, this willpower, you're expecting this power to change your life. You're sending a power out to who and unto whom. And historically, how did you get it? Meaning, say like in the black community, the number one reason black community, quote unquote, listen to me very carefully. One of the number one reasons the black community received Christianity was through slavery. It was through being taught to obey and to have obedience for their masters. Correct. So for black people, the black community in America, the black and more community in so-called black people in America, having that history of gaining any religion or any connection to a higher power that was given to someone that kept us in quote unquote bondage, wouldn't that be giving that power to the same people that put us, or quote unquote kept us in bondage? Yes. Yes. Yeah. I don't need no one to answer that for me. I'm telling you, for us, yes. So let me give you an example of that for the black community. If black people, a large number of black people practice Christianity in the different denominations, that whether it could be Baptist, it could be Methodist, it could be Episcopal, it's a lot of different factions of religion. So say we received it historically from these people that kept us in bondage. Say like these people that kept us in bondage, had organizations, say like the Ku Klux Klan, where they would take a cross and burn it in their practicing of their higher, quote unquote, race superiority in their practice. They practice race superiority. And others, including quote unquote people of color, are inferior. So in that practice, in that teaching, they're both Christians. Correct? There is not a difference between, I mean, you're like, well, there is a difference. Well, no, it isn't. It is not. So when I realized when I became a Muslim is when we give whomever, historically, from where we got it from, the history, historically, whoever we giving this power to come into our life to make a change, as a Muslim, we have a thing called una means. It's Latin, meaning there is no separation between self and Allah. And the own Christian Bible says man is made in God's image. Some people understand, but I'm gonna give you the overstanding of it. We make our own decisions. We have the power. We are gods. We made everything in the world that's happening right now. We did that. And more importantly, what make a God or gods powerful is being accountable of their power, realizing what harm and damage they can do or have done, and correct it. Make it better. Fix it. You broke it. You are the power. You wield it. You even whatever you wanted to come into your life. correctly if you wanted something higher than self to do it. But as a Moor and a Muslim, we know there isn't anything higher than self. Like, we are it. It is us. There is no separation in it. Meaning, I can't go out here and do harm to anyone in the world, cause harm and devastation, maim, do whatever to another person. Right? Then scream, I'm under this new influence, and ask for forgiveness and be forgiven, as if somebody else has the accountability to do it other than myself. We are gods, but we're not accountable. We have done and we do and we choose to do a lot of things in this world that may not be helping nobody except ourselves, but may be hurting a lot of other people. We have broken a lot of things that we won't even admit that we broke. We've done a lot of damage to a lot of people that we won't even admit that we've done. And that damage is going to cause other damage. If you help someone, another person probably helps somebody. But if you hurt somebody, I guarantee that motherfucker going to hurt somebody. That's how it go. Misery loves company. And we are the gods of the earth. But we don't want to be gods. We want to be babies.